This presentation I've entitled Signs of the Last Days. From the very beginning, God established a pattern of days for His creation. In the very beginning, He created everything in 6 days and rested on the 7th. This, I believe, is an indication of what God's overall plan is for mankind. In this presentation, we're going to look and see what God has to say about the signs of the last days. So from the very beginning, God established a 7-day pattern for His creation. Here we are in 2008, and we're at about the end of 6,000 years of biblical history. If we look at that according to the Bible, we see that we're at about the end of the 6th day, and only one day, day 7, remains. God also says that with Him a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. At the end of 6,000 years, we begin to believe that maybe God actually means what He says when He says to Him, a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years is like a day. So how does this help us to understand the signs of the last days? The Bible tells us when the last days started. They started with Christ about 2,000 years ago. We read in Hebrews that in these last days, God has spoken to us by His Son. Now here's one of the most specific prophecies about the last days. We read it in Hosea. It says, "Afterwards the Israelites will return and seek the Lord their God and David their king. They will come trembling to the Lord and to His blessings in the last days." This is about the regathering of Israel as a nation. This happened in 1948. This is in day 6, but it gives us a sign. Here are other prophecies that give us indicators about the last days. In 2 Timothy it says there will be terrible times in the last days. Some people think the terrible times are already here. The Bible indicates that they're really ahead of us. The terrible times are yet to come. But today we see that scoffers are coming, saying, "Where is this coming that He promised?" Everything goes on as it has since the beginning. Scoffers, unbelievers. So as we can see from the Scriptures, the last days started with Christ in day 5. We are currently in day 6, and we've seen Israel regathered and some of the signs that indicate that we are in the throes of the last days. But there's one day outstanding. Here's what God says in Isaiah 46. "Remember this and fix it in your mind. Take it to heart, you rebels. I am God, and there is no other. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times what is still to come." But as we can see from the timeline of the 7 days of the Lord for His creation, we see that there's one day, day 7, 1,000 years outstanding. This is also recorded in the Bible. In various places it says, "In the last days the kingdom of the Lord's temple will be established as chief among the kingdoms. It will be raised above the nations, and the peoples will stream to it, the millennial kingdom of 1,000 years." So as we see from the Scripture, God has a 7-day plan. 6,000 years or 6 days have already transpired, and we're at about the end of that period. There's one day left, day 7, which is the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth. The Bible gives us the signs of the last days. The last days is a period of 3,000 years. 2,000 years of that are already behind us, and only 1,000 years left to go.